Riyad, how are you?
Doing good, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, I know we've been trying to put this together for a few months now, probably from last year to this year. I know a lot of the change of the world, the pandemic has changed this a lot, but I'm glad to finally having a real talk and really get to know you and the Master family.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So overall, in current basis, how's everything? How are you guys doing?
Well, I would say, it's been a crazy year, but it's made us stronger. And I would say personally, doing well. My kids are doing well. My wife, my extended family, everyone's safe. And business wise, it's just we're rocking and rolling, and kind of the bets and investments we made last year, we're seeing the fruits of that now.
Wonderful. I mean, it's fascinating. I'm so, happy everybody's, healthy, things are moving forward. We're evolving. We're pushing to the new normals and the changes that's happening out there, but I wanted to really do the perspective of really the Master family, Nizam family, how you guys all got here. I've studied, I've read a lot. Your father started this. So can you give us a little background of how it started from your father in the 1960s and how you are here today?
Yeah. My father started the company. It's a really kind of the American dream story. Came here as an immigrant, didn't know English, went to college here, learned English, went to a job fair at Portland State University, got a job in the electronics industry, and kind of the rest is history. And we evolved. My father started the company, and then me and my siblings are all involved in the business. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey and evolution of kind of going from a smaller company to, I would say, a larger company. We're on the brink of $500 million today. And it's been an evolution of growing in focus, I would say.
Yeah, so what are those, core values? Because family businesses, I come from a family business. It's, of course, there's dynamics in there, but starting from there and building it out through, probably companies, acquisitions. I know your father started as a rep company first, right? And then started distribution. And then I know from back in the late 90s when online came out, the online side came out, you guys were first. I mean, of course, with the other two big players out there, but you guys were first to that too as well, in that market space. So really, how has that evolved with the leadership side of the family coming through and going through that? Because I know it's dynamic. So can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I would say, on the leadership side and family dynamics, I would say, when we were smaller, all decisions were made by the family members. And I'm talking about everything. I mean, a dollar wouldn't be sent without a family member making that decision. And about 10 years ago, we got together as a family and we said, what do we want this to be? What do we want to do? And at that moment, a couple of major decisions were made. One, you don't have to be in the business just because you're a family member. Number two, everyone did a little bit of everything, and we stopped that, and there was focus. So, for example, I did a little bit of everything. I shifted and became VP of sales and started focusing only on sales. So focus was a key. And the biggest change in leadership was we went to focusing on people. So surrounding ourselves with great people, creating a culture with core values, which we never had before. And really this empowerment type of culture. And that was a big step for the family and a big step for the employees because it was a change from what we had before. I think we always treated people well, but I would say we didn't empower them. And that was the moment which really made this thing go crazy. And it's been a fun journey seeing things happen. And today I'll walk around my office and there's tons of things happening that I'm not aware of. And if I ever put my head in, it's usually great stuff I see. And so that's just makes us all very happy to see that.
Yeah,
but, it was a big kind of aha moment that we are going to change the way we do things and empower people.
That's extremely fascinating from that perspective of the change management and sometimes letting go because all the decisions are made, and empowering skill set, right? Bringing in people who are your family members. Each person has a particular skill set, using that skill set and quantifying those skill sets because not everybody's good at everything.
Right.
And then probably bringing on other leaders and other people around you and bringing on and building that foundation to be able to build scale.
Yes.
Right?
You got it.
Yeah. So how is, I mean, I could say it 10 years ago. So that's when I was going to ask is when your like mission and vision really changed. Did it evolve like 10 years ago, or was that changing throughout the years?
No, I would say 10 years ago is kind of that big. We were always evolving and changing. That's when we made this focus on empowerment of our team members.
Okay.
And where do we want to go? What do we want to do in the focus? That was really a moment that we really changed the direction of the company forever, I would say. And, I would say a shift to people, which led to better results as well. I mean, more than we ever dreamed of, I would say.
I mean, it's funny because from your mission statement, which I wrote down myself, is to be family that uses our collective superpower to do significant things, which is just
significant good.
Yeah, significant. Oh, significant good. Yeah. So that's it. And that's what you explained it, but that's the core and the value and the mission that you guys have is to really, empower everybody around you.
Yeah. And our mission is only a year old. We introduced it January of 2020. And it's not your traditional mission statement, right? Yeah. That's not the mission statement you see with most companies. But we're not a traditional company. And the key words in that mission statement, family, that's our work family, our own families, our suppliers, our customers, anyone that's part of this community. I'll call it a community almost. And then the significant good, that could be financial good for our suppliers, helping our customers be more successful. It could be impacting the lives of our team members. And I would say an area that we're going to really be doing more in is making the world a better place, investing in our communities. And that's kind of I would say we're at the infancy stage of that right now.
The giving back.
We have an obligation, if we're doing well, to make our communities better and make the world better.
I love it. I love it. But throughout this, through these almost 70 years, you would come to say is how many companies have you guys? I mean, how many different divisions does under the master?
Well, I think I don't know the exact number, but I think we've done about 14 acquisitions in the company's history. The companies today are Online Components, or e-commerce strategy. eSonic, which is a company we acquired in Canada. It's the only Canadian-focused distributor today, with locations in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, and a warehouse in Canada. And then Master Electronics, which is our branch locations in Asia and the US. We call it traditional sales. So those are the three brands we have today.
And right now, are those are strategic in manner, and do they focus on? I mean, I would say online components is online processing, but how is the difference between the other two, with Master and eSonic? What's the difference of the business model?
The difference is eSonic is Canada only.
Okay.
Strictly Canada focused. So that's really the main difference, but the sales strategy and the offering is the same.
No, yeah, because I remember you guys have acquired. I remember back in the day, I remember we spoke about the All-American acquisition back then when you started and traveled to Florida and really had to get that going. And a lot of these challenges through acquisition, it's a learning experience as well. It's evolution.
Yeah. Those are some of the most cherished memories I have. They were hard, but those are the memories where, you see people come together and you're kind of merging two cultures together. And it's really rewarding at the end of the day, but it's definitely some very heavy lifting.
Yeah, of course. Because I would say in any family business too, because everybody's family. It's not an immediate family, but the colleagues and employees are family. And that way it's a heavy burden as leadership, because their families on your shoulders too, to lead, to guide, to make sure that everybody has, food on the table, everybody's free, everybody's happy, their families are happy. And these are things, I think right now, how many employees do you guys have globally?
So we have just about 500 employees.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's grown a lot. I think when we went back to that 10-year mark, I want to say we were about 150.
Okay.
So it's definitely grown quite a bit.
That surge. And now coming to, I know the digitalization and coming to the online focus is in the early 2000s and coming with online components, that direction, was it the whole family collective to start an online platform, or how did that come about?
No, so that's my brother Jamil.
Okay.
And he really, that was his baby and his entrepreneurial creation. And he came up with that concept and that name. And, it was, early days of Amazon and buying books online. And he said, why not buy components online? And it was kind of drawn on a napkin. It literally was drawn on a napkin, and it started from there. So I wish I could take some credit for it, but that's my brother Jamil, and he's really the visionary in that regard.
Well, that platform to quantify back then, I mean, everybody, the digitalization internet was just in infancy, as you would say back then, and bringing things because data, people that are really on this data analytics, the data, just like, okay, do we catalog? Do we put parts on there? There's some other key competitors in that market space already at that time, but how do we get all this data? How do we put it on there? How do we continuously update it to make it real time? These are some of the challenges that I know that faced with a lot of companies doing, because today I think everybody's trying to play catch up, but sometimes a lot of people are behind. Unless you have massive capital, a lot of people are not going to go take that route anymore because the players.
Yeah, I remember we were like uploading Excel files and it was very manual and maybe very labor intensive, and things were not real time. Today, if we sell an item, the inventory is removed within maybe a second. Back then it was, I think it didn't update till the next day.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's fascinating to go through this evolution of, everything's real time now, and the Excel files, because Excel's a database, so updated daily, our inventory is updated, the pricing, and going through tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of SKUs of updating of the price changes and becoming that. But coming to that place, I know it's a lot of these acquisitions you guys done. I think it's gone through it's brought on a lot more lines for you, a lot of franchise lines, a lot of things. So how is that strategy for Master for the product lines that you guys acquired?
So we want to have kind of one-stop shop if we can. And we have tons of great brand names, and we have gotten some through acquisition. And in general, we are adding new products all the time that make sense for us. But yeah, I think, through the acquisitions, we acquired some suppliers that were great. We acquired great employees, geographic additions as well, like eSonic with Canada. We were doing very little business in Canada until we made the acquisition. So definitely product offering is key. Customers want to be able to get everything from one spot that's reliable, that has great service, it's friendly. And so that's definitely a key part of our strategy.
Yeah, I mean, of course, just to have, the one-stop shop that people can collect and pick and do a library of building whatever gadget they're building, whatever device or repair or whatever it can be. Because I know you guys have that models from one piece to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands that go into that model. What are I know that Master has some key, like, large partners. What are your key, like, top 2 or 3 franchise lines? Like, these are your key lines that you guys have.
Yeah, so some that stand out. T Connectivity is a key partner for us, and a great supplier with great products, great technology, and really one of the key suppliers that has many different products. Honeywell sensors and switches is a key product line. Meanwhile, power supplies. Omron, Panasonic, Teledyne, C&K. I mean, it's hard to name one because there's so many great brands with different products.
But what I think a lot of them are electromechanical or that kind of SKU. Like, is that really where I can see a lot of those things you named off are power supplies, switchers, connectors. These are that I can see that kind of forte is that's really that direction, those movers for you, because that's a big market. That's a big and emerging market still. And we're on power. Everything that's a power range. Everything's in power.
Yeah. Power has been a big area for us that we've definitely invested in. I think 10 years ago we had no power supplies, and now it's becoming bigger and bigger. And then everything's connected. Sensors, obviously, we know how important that is with what's going on with 5G and the Internet of Things. So yeah, these are great product areas that are going to continue to grow and be a bigger part of our lives.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's everything about. I think we're just at the cusp of another industrial revolution of digitalization, and the direction we're going. It's unprecedented of what's going on right now, and it's. I think the pandemic that we're in has really pushed us to the next level and really accelerated things that weren't that. I mean, the 5G, IoT, everything is being accelerated through that. Be connected, and the work from home is really one of the pushes that everybody's like, we have to digitalize.
Yeah.
We work from anywhere, and we can be just as productive or be
Yeah.
even busier than we ever been. These are a lot of things that come to play. So through that digitalization, how through the structure, how is the technology, the distribution landscape, are your goals and missions, and how does Master keep evolving? What's your goals and growth goals to keep evolving through this technology landscape?
Well, I would say, it's being connected with the right partners.
Mhm.
I would say our view is a little bit more on eliminating commercial barriers for customers to get the products they want. So it's not necessarily focused on a technology. It's more about what are the reasons why customers do not buy a product from a certain supplier, whether it be lead time, MOQ, technical data. And so what are those barriers, and removing them and making it easy for customers to buy these products from the different suppliers. That's more our focus, Rob, than really technology.
Okay. Oh no, that means you're curating a solution for the customers than just the technology aspect. It's a full solution, as you would say. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I would say that. I like to say eliminating commercial barriers
Commercial barriers.
to you buying products. That's our focus, making it easy and friendly and fun.
And fun, yeah, it's fun. Exactly, the interaction part. As again, the human connection. Even though you have online portal, you have in person, the B2B. It's that human connection, as we all know, especially present day. Human connection is key, and people like to do business with people they like, and products they have, and the services and the friendliness.
It's
And
key. It's key.
it's key. And having that culture of what you built at Master really, I think, accelerates that because everybody feels a part of the growth process. Correct.
Yeah, I would say so. We're all in it together, and hopefully our customers and suppliers can feel that from our team when we're talking to them. And people like talking to people that are having a good time and energetic and can solve problems. What I say is one way we've been able to win is through speed, flexibility, and entrepreneurial spirit. And people are craving those things and need them, and I think our team delivers them.
I cannot agree more. I think everybody strives for that. It's just finding that excellence of and that collaborative unity together to be able to accomplish those initiatives. But moving forward for that, so how is the landscape of Master or the Master family of groups? Is like you have US, you had US, then you have Asia as well, correct?
Yeah.
And how is the growth of both sides? Is Asia growing now more exponentially because US is probably still growing as well?
Yeah.
But where are those, like Mexico region, or do you also do business in South America? How is that geographically set?
Yeah, they're all growing, but Asia is outgrowing the rest of the company, and it's definitely growing at a faster clip right now. We have an office in Hong Kong, we have an office in Penang, Malaysia. And as we become more global, we see that impact happening there. So Asia is growing more than North America, but North America is growing as well.
Yeah. What's your perspective on the onshoring, offshoring in the last, 4 years? A lot of challenges, political and tariffs. How is that affecting? What do you hear from your customers? Are they making changes or shifts or?
Yeah. So you have the tariffs, which is the first event that kind of made people think about things differently. You have increased costs in Asia, and now you have the pandemic, and I haven't seen a major shift in behavior. A little bit of what I see is I see our customers may manufacture in one place before for the whole world. Now, if they're big enough, there may be a US location and an Asia location for the certain markets. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I'd see a little bit. I see people not wanting to be as dependent on one component or one country. But I haven't seen a big shift in onshoring or or strategic changes of people wanting to open up new plants.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a big major shift in that, and I think people, I still think the world's going to be global, even though we have all these political things happening, which maybe are a threat to globalization. I still see it. I kind of see it. We're all too linked up for that to be unwound, So I think the world will be connected, whether people like it or not. I think we're all going to be connected.
In some way, shape, or form, there will be the connection there. So now bringing it down to the current business climate, how is Master mitigating the supply chain challenges in the current market right now?
Yeah. So the key is we made a strategic decision to buy inventory and stock last June. After the dust had settled with the pandemic a little bit. I mean, it hadn't really settled, but we, with the kind of the world is ending, kind of ended, that kind of feeling that went away. We made a decision in June to invest at that moment, and we expanded our product offering. I think we added 40,000 new SKUs. We beefed up our inventory across the board. And because of that, we're able to kind of mitigate some of the challenges today, because we started getting inventory in Q3, Q4, and early Q1. So that's one thing. And we did not know it would come back this strong and this soon, but we did know it would come back. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the benefits you get with Master Electronics is we're not run quarter to quarter. We're not publicly held, and we're able to make long-term investments. So that was the basis for avoiding some of these. Now, of course, we have some of the challenges that everyone's dealing with today. And the other way we mitigate them, I think, is communication. As simple as that is, constant, consistent, clear communication with our suppliers, understanding what's going on with them, and then the same with our customers. And then I would say a third one is just offering options. Offering our customers different options with this climate. And the more we communicate, the more we can mitigate issues. And so it's not only with I think with the supply chain issues, I also think the price changes. We're going through a dramatic change with prices, and we've been able to keep our customers' prices the same without them facing these increases by getting ahead of it.
You nailed it. Those are a lot of the key points you just nailed is exactly how a lot of people are going to probably listening to should adapt. And it's predicting and have a strategy of forward thinking for the future, knowing that this business is not going to, where electronics is just at the cusp of having another revolution. And it's fascinating how you guys, you took a risk, but you have to take risk in any business to succeed and make, learn or grow, or you made a mistake and you pivot and go. But it's fascinating that you guys kind of doubled down and said, okay, we're going to keep moving forward. This is not going to slow us down. We're going to stock up. We're going to see these changes coming, and the demand is there. And I cannot agree more. Now coming to the price increases, I think everybody across the board is feeling that. And the lead times right now, I know because you have probably a lot of different product managers. How are all your product managers for those certain lines and lead times? How you communicate to your customers from lead times that go from 10 to 12 weeks or 8 to 12 weeks to 30 to 40 weeks? How do you communicate to your customers?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge for our product team and for our sales team, because they're on the front lines. Yeah. And so I would say, again, constant communication. So we have pretty clear communication from our product team to our sales team. Mm-hmm. I would say our system is pretty robust, where things are being updated very quickly and, as they happen. So I would say through our system and just peer-to-peer communication, we're able to do that. They are changing daily, which is interesting. Like you said, we literally had products go from 8-week lead time to 30 weeks, and it happened like overnight. And so I would say just, blocking and tackling, just communication, over communication is what I like to say.
I mean, we are all trying to mitigate or tackle those challenges, because you have, just like you order the factory 8 to 10 weeks through, and it's like, oh, sorry, we have challenge. I mean, there's a lot of the pandemic, freezing materials, fires, a lot of supply chain logistics issues, flights, you're not flying enough, slow ports being held up, so many things that I think in supply chain that all of us in this industry of any type of component or raw material or anything is facing is how do we mitigate those? And you said communicate with the customers because everybody's feeling it.
Yeah.
Not only one person, but that key communication internally and using it externally, being proactive is key. And I can see that's one of the successes that probably you guys are having.
Yeah. And I think the pandemic has given everyone a little bit of a sense of understanding. Mm-hmm. Since we are all in this together, suppliers, customers, distributors, we are all having to work differently, with social distancing and protocols and delays delays with freight. Yeah. Even Amazon, right? Yeah. There's times I don't get the order the next day, which is like unheard of, right? I think this is giving everyone a little bit of understanding, a little bit of empathy. We're all in this together and everyone's doing their best and let's work through it. Yeah. So I think that's been a thing that we can all take away from this experience together. I think everyone will be a little bit more understanding with each other when things do arise. It's all about what are you going to do to fix it?
Yeah, what are you going to do to fix it and how we're going to work together? Because technology, as I said, I keep bringing that up as the technology with the cusp is everybody asks, why are we in this? What's going on? Even people from in the industry, some people that don't have all the information and outside the industries, why it's happening? And why is there a semiconductor shortage? Why is there raw material shortage? I mean, there's a lot of outside factors, but I mean, I want to discuss with you is the technology is like, people don't realize like automotive, especially it's the public, it's all over the board. Automotive is losing so much money, shut down plants, cars, shortages, but automotive side is the chips they use because sensors used to be, maybe a car used, 10 to 20 sensors for like the windows and things, and maybe parking sensors. But today, as everything is connected, cars are connected to the internet. Everything has a sensor.
Sorry about that.
Bless you, no problem. Everything has a sensor, and when a car goes from using 10 sensors to 100 or 200, everything, the microcontroller, everything is those components that go around that process. And sharing that, and explaining that to the people out there, understanding, hey, this is the reason that there's supply. It's not because it's the growth of 5G networks. The 5G networks everything's connected. It's faster paced. We're connected, every single device, our phones, everything's connected. We cannot operate these days. Try to leave your home today without your phone and see what happens. Yeah. See what happens. And you're kind of lost because we've curated, or the technology has psychologically changed the way our habits grow.
Yeah, it's have your phone more than a foot away from you, see what happens. Yeah. A panic attack.
Yeah, so that aspect of, so that's why we go to technology ways. As I said, you guys are doing a lot of but what are the things you foresee with your partners, your principals that you work with technology, with sensors, of course, getting into that IoT segment of technology, saying, okay, this is the demand. We need to bring these type of products on. We need to carry because we see this the future. So what is that chemistry? What is that strategy you guys have?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to what I said a little bit earlier. Everything's more connected. So what are the products that will have you be more connected and to do things from when you're sitting on the beach to your office and do something at your house. So I'd say sensors obviously is a key role in that. Connectors are a key role in that. Obviously, there's going to be more microchips used for each of those things. Mm-hmm. And another area that's going to, I think, really blow up, and it's already there, but it's going to go to a whole different level, wireless charging.
Yeah.
So wireless charging is going to be a big growth driver for the electronics industry. Mm-hmm. I believe, you'll go to a restaurant in the near future, put your phone down on the table and it will start charging. Mm-hmm. Your laptop will not be plugged in anymore. It'll be charged from the surface it's on. I mean, so I think that's going to be a big growth driver for this industry. And again, it's been talked about a lot, the autonomous driving, all those things will drive more and more of these things.
Well, yeah.
So I think that covers it.
Yeah, I mean, you get into a lot of those, from automotive is a big, but the technology of computing power, faster computing, AI, AI is a big area. Everything communicates. Everything's artificial intelligence that goes into data center because there's a brain, and those brains talk to AI and computer learning, machine learning, deep learning. All these aspects that come to play is computing power is it's huge. Data centers is a massive consumption. They're trying to get more efficient, trying to get faster, and there's a lot of advantages of that. And then going to the medical side, those things are all connected. You go into the hospital, everything's. I just recently had a surgery a couple weeks ago, and it was amazing how everything is digital. Every touch point is digital. They go through the process, and it was. Especially walked into the operating room when I had a hip replacement, like the operating room was like, I've never seen it. I'm like, I'm in the future. I feel like some of the movies. I'm like, wow, it's a newly built facility, but I'm like, it's all digital, big screens, robotics, everything around. And these robotics come into piece to advance our life, advance technology, the evolution of things. It's so fascinating. And we as distribution, or as the hardware point of supplying these gadgets, is so exciting to see what's in the future.
Yeah, we're at the start of it, right?
Yeah.
It all doesn't get powered or work without our components, which is the very fun part of this industry. Our stuff is in everything. Whether you go to a restaurant, an airplane, the hospital, we're a part of it all, which makes it fun. And I think self-service is also going to be a driver in our industry. Could there be a time where you're doing your own blood tests on yourself? As an example, and submitting it to your phone and having it, the results come in. So I think self-service is going to be another driver in our industry.
Yeah, I agree, because right now you can, for diabetes, have sensors. You have sensors for that to tell blood sugar levels, and all those the gadgets are coming to surface. They're concept wise, and it's been really fast with power. I would just say power with the renewable energy, these battery power. Everything's powered by something, and of course it can be by solar, it can be by a digital or wireless, or how everything's getting powered around this world. But that brings me to a question for you: is how does Master right now, for the technology moving forward, how do you integrate with some of your big customers? Are you guys have changed your platform's infrastructure for API integrations or EDI or for mass production? How does it operate? Are you guys empowering that day over day, or investing?
Yeah. That's a big area, big strategic push for us. But our motto is let customers interact with us any way they choose to, not the way we choose to. And so you can talk to an inside salesperson or outside salesperson if you like today, kind of traditional. You can go e-commerce. Mm-hmm. You can do EDI.
Okay.
Send us your forecast, your orders through EDI, get acknowledgments via EDI, API integrations. And then another area is customer portal. How do we let customers interact with our sales team members when they choose to, but also self-serve when they want? Whether it's special discounted pricing, requesting technical information about their accounting, AR, anything they want to do, kind of self-service. So that's been a big push for us, and will continue to be a bigger part of our business, because we're dealing with small customers. Yeah. We're dealing with customers that may be ordering components in the middle of the night. Okay. They may be paying their bills from their house at night, because we're dealing with a lot of companies that were, the founder is the engineer, but also maybe in purchasing. Mm-hmm. So I would say those are the areas we're investing in, but portal is going to be a big one, continue to go forward. So we're investing heavily into that. And our goal is to make it the best experience possible. How do we give the customers ability to self-serve when they want, and then talk to someone when they choose to?
And it's all data driven. That data, people don't realize that the data analytics companies are the most priceless companies out there, because like Amazon's a data company. They live and breathe the Facebooks, the Googles, the social media. They're data driven. And I think that's somewhere where a lot of the business in the distribution model semiconductor has kind of lacked a little bit, but now it's evolving. Data. We all have to make the calculated decisions off data. And that data is how you can get the better customer experience, because you can data and you can predict the customer trends, what they do, and give them some offerings that, hey, we know you buy this, or we stock this for you. We can predict what your usage will be. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, one of the things we try to do here is stock parts before our customers even know they need them. That's our goal here. We're getting better and better at it, but we're not perfect. But how do we do that? Continue to do that. So when our customers design in a product or need something, they can get it next day instead of 14 weeks. And then the other thing about data you mentioned, Rob, is it's using the data, but also there's some things that data can't tell you. And there's also some things that we need a person to make a decision based on the feedback they have from the customer. And so we're really balancing using data, but also still being that flexible company that can make a decision very quickly for someone. And that's probably the great thing for our team members and for our customers is our account managers can make most of the decisions they need on their own, on the spot, without any approvals or systems to go through. We had a lot of customers that had to push out orders last year. That's a decision that's made one-on-one very easily most of the time. And so that's where we got to mix the data and empowerment together.
Well, you're right. So the data gives you a better way to make a calculated decision, and then that human takes over. I think that's one thing I've really liked. Yes. 70, 80% could be the data, then that 20, 30% could be the human that interacts with it that can make that actual, there are decisions that need to be made because the system can't do it all, but the system can give you a good picture of what the decision could be, moving forward. So in that aspect of how moving forward your customer, how do you see, what is the goal, like the next 3 to 5 years for Master? You guys, what's your trajectory or what's your goals you guys seeing with the company growing and some milestones you want to reach?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the brink of $500 million today. It's very possible to be $1 billion company. That's going to be up to the team members of this company if they want to do it. But I would say have more of a global presence, continue to evolve our service and offering. And we think it's good today, but we need to continue to invest in that and not be happy with where it's at to make it better. Continue to invest in the digital side, digital data science, the AI you were talking about that. How do we improve that to continue having the parts in stock before our customers need them? But, I think it just, this is a pretty famous quote. I want to just be better. I don't necessarily want to be bigger, but better is better. Not bigger is not better, I didn't say that too well, but.
No, I mean, better is I use, of course, I think we've gone to this, I'm the Mamba mentality, a Kobe Bryant fan, the quest to be the best version of oneself or the best company of oneself. And these are the things that continuously improve and evolve.
Yeah.
And that comes and that with that type of leadership and instilling it with your team and people to the quest to be, we're not going to be better tomorrow. We're going to be better every single day and keep improving ourselves.
Yeah. And the thing I left out was, we continue. The two things I would add to, the future is next 3 to 5 years. Our goal is to make this one of the best companies to work for, to be one of the best companies to be part of. That's really important to me personally and to everyone here, and how do we do that? And then also the giving back part, how do we continue to do our part there and make that a bigger part of our company culture and who we are? So I think if we all do all those things, the results will take care of themselves and we'll have a good time, and that's another thing is we got to have a good time. And that's probably what I missed the most about this last year is the fun, business is good, but it hasn't felt as good because we're not having the celebrations, the parties, the get-togethers. I'm really missing that, and I can't wait till that comes back because we like to have a lot of fun here, whether it's parties, cheesy videos we make. That's the part I really want to get back to.
No, I have seen some of those clips and stuff you put on social media with all your Zoom things, Zoom fires, Zoom things you do. I mean, you got to make it fun, even though you're remote and fun, you got to make it fun. And that brings me to the question is because the generation, there's a succession happening with the boomer and there's the X as well, X as the millennials, as the Y generation coming in. And of course the distribution market or hardware, as you say, engineering it wasn't the most sexiest thing. It was the software. But now as the evolution of hardware is moving is how do you guys, as you say, bringing on talent? What's your vision or what's your goals to acquire new talent make master family attractive, to bring on those new talents and train them for that goals? What are those types of initiatives you set in place?
Well, I think, like you said, it's the I hate telling people what I do, because they're always like, what does he do?
Yes.
It's like, it's never really understood. So I would say this is like the biggest industry no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
So the way we, I think, attract the right people is through our story.
Mm-hmm.
How the company was started by my father, our core values, our mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those resonate with people, and they go, oh, I want to be a part of that. That I'm attracted to that, and then they get introduced to the electronics industry secondary.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone says, man, I want to get involved in the electronic component industry. It's more of those factors that attract people. And then when I go back to that family atmosphere, a way we've been able to attract a lot of people is the people working here.
Okay.
The people working here telling their friends, their family, people they meet, hey, I think you should come check out my company. I love working there. This is what I do, and come check it out. So I think that's the way we can attract people. And then continue to make it fun, continue to make it fun.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I mean, you have to enjoy what you do. Of course, there's little stresses and things that happen. That's life, and you learn, getting uncomfortable, making a mistake, learning from that, growing from that, and that's what's always curating that, or always empowering that. Nothing is perfect. What our goal is to give you a platform to excel, or a launch pad to excel to the next thing, and quantify that skill that you have, and grow through the companies and things. So what is your average tenure of the people at Master?
Wow. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know off the top of my head, but I want to say it's about 10 years.
Oh, wow. That's good.
And this is what I say. People usually work here for about 6 months or for their entire lives.
Yeah.
It's kind of one or the other. It's I would say, a couple characteristics about the people and the culture is it's a quirky group of people. Mm-hmm. You could be whoever you want to be here. You don't have to act a certain way. You have to be yourself here. It's a fast-paced environment. Some people like that, some people don't. It's a changing environment. It's a challenging environment. We challenge each other no matter how well things are going. We strive to be an open and transparent environment. And it's definitely a quirky group. We're all a little quirky here.
No, that's wonderful. That's what makes it fun. That makes it different. Everybody brings some value, some difference. They learn from each other, and that's how it builds a core family. And as the Master family, you guys created.
I think our tenure was higher, but we've hired so many people in the last few years. That's why it's kind of been brought down.
No, I cannot agree more. So for this, I mean, the couple things I want to get to is like, what are your words for the new generation coming in the industry?
Yeah. So my words for the new generation are, working hard is okay. Nothing will replace hard work, grit, determination. So I would encourage hard work, investing the time. I would encourage to be curious about things, and that can push you to learn more, investigate more, get excited about something. So curiosity is a big one. Be open-minded, be yourself, and show up. Show up, whether that's at work, whether that's with friends, whether that's just being present and there instead of being on your phone. Just show up.
I cannot agree. The words of wisdom right there, from experience of wisdom, from Riad, you've nailed it right there. Those are all the words of wisdom. I mean, for people out there, what is your guys's, for people coming on for new talent or existing talent, how is the structure for you guys in the next year for come back to the office, or what's going on? Do you guys have you guys making any judgments yet? You're just waiting to see what's going on in the world, in the global environment?
Yeah. So I would say safety is our number one thing, so we were always going to make that the most important thing above anything else. Mm-hmm. And so that's, and things are changing all the time with this thing. With that being said, we want to be in the office.
Mm-hmm.
I think this has opened up our eyes that we can be successful and productive by working from home. So working from home, I think, will be part of the future for us, but we want to get back in the office. And I don't know exactly, but I would think in the next few months, we can get more into the office.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is the collaboration, the culture, the onboarding of new people, the face-to-face meetings with customers and suppliers and other vendors. And so that's where we want to get back to. So as long as it's safe, I see us coming back in the next couple months with always having a work from home element.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're right, because the future is really unknown, especially in this world. We don't know. But of course is rehumanizing it, bringing people together again, and embracing and being creativity, because of course we can be creative. We are communicating for the digital platform, but again, nothing really replaces that interpersonal communication, or in the same room, sharing something, sharing ideas, brainstorming, and to build that community of what you guys have done, Masters. You've really built that family. And so sometimes, okay, we've taken a little break. We have to. There's something's pivoted this a little bit, but we're going to bring this back, and our mission is to bring everybody back and be productive and lead to our future goals of being $1 billion company.
Yeah. And that's the creative part that you're talking about. It's hard to be creative as a group via Zoom. It can be done, but it's just not as good.
Yeah.
And so that's why I want to get back in the office, for that reason, not for productivity, not for any of those reasons. People are more productive probably at home. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm coming in about 2 or 3 days a week to myself today. And so it's nice to see people, it's just nice to be around people. We have about 25 people from my office view right now. So it's probably the busiest I've seen it in the last, since this pandemic started. So it's nice seeing people. I miss people. I want to be able to give people a hug, or a high five.
Well, hopefully soon we can do that together. We can, sit down, relax, maybe have a drink, just chat interpersonal, and that's what it's done. And as much as the digital's brought a lot of people together, I think I've connected with a lot of people and built some good relationships. And its future is bright, and we could meet and visit you or see some event, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
So once again, Riad, any final words you have?
I would just say, thanks for doing this. Thanks for bringing more of a spotlight on the electronics industry. It's a great industry. It's fun. It's fast paced. You meet a lot of cool, interesting people. So thank you for doing that. And then, I would say this is a great industry to be a part of. It's going to be a great industry for the future. If you like that type of environment and you want to be kind of at the ground floor of technology, I would say. So, and then I would say, stay safe and stay positive.
I love it. Love it. Thanks, Riad. Thanks again for coming to Real Talk. It's a pleasure sharing the story, sharing the information, and I look to collaborate with you again in the future sometime more.
All right, great.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Rob. Take care. Bye.